You're watching Capitol Connection from the Illinois State Capitol.
Republican candidate for Governor Darren Bailey is in the middle of a 102-county bus tour leading up to primary election day. Earlier this week, we caught up with Bailey at his stop in Decatur, Illinois. Now, here's that full interview. We are here in Decatur, Illinois, in downtown, speaking with Republican candidate for Governor Darren Bailey. You're in the middle of a pretty big bus tour here leading up to the primary election. Let's start there. Tell us a little bit about your campaign strategy.
Absolutely. Well, our campaign strategy is the same as it's always been, reaching the people, getting out amongst the people. We've been doing that ever since I sued J.B. Pritzker and won in May and July of 2020, and that's where we began to realize the momentum for change that we believe is building here in Illinois. So anyway, winding up the primary season with a 2-week bus tour. We're going to hit every county in the state, and here we are.
Obviously, you're hoping for a little bit of momentum going into voting day. You got a little bit more of that last week. A poll coming out last week showing a drastically different picture than what we've heard in past weeks. A lot of the rhetoric was a two-man race between you and Richard Irvin. That poll last week showed that you had a pretty comfortable lead. I wonder what your thoughts were just seeing those numbers and how you move forward with that kind of prediction in a primary season.
Well, really nothing changes. We being a farmer, I'm used to working like I'm losing, and that's exactly what we're going to continue doing. We believe the momentum and the support is going to continue to build. We out on the campaign trail. I mean, no one can argue the fact that Cindy and I and our team, we're out working everyone else combined. So we feel that we've always had, we've always known the results of this poll, that we're winning, but we just got to carry through and reach the people and give them a voice, which is what they've been lacking for too long in Illinois.
Especially after this poll came out, Richard Irvin kind of changed his campaign points last week, going at you a different way than he's really gone in the past, saying a vote for you is a vote for J.B. Pritzker in the fall, saying that you are not able to beat Governor Pritzker come November. When you heard him shift to that line, what's your message to a voter who may be hearing that and being like, okay, what does he mean by that?
Well, I think the voter knows different. I think that's why the momentum for our campaign is building, because whether it's J.B. Pritzker and the Democrat Party, whether it's current Republican leadership in the Republican Party, the political elites have left the people out of the process. And that's what we've been bringing to them since day one. I mean, that's how I got elected as a state representative. I'm the only person to stand up against these egregious mandates, these shutdowns that destroyed local business. I'm the only person that stood up for the people, and the people realize that. So at the end of the day, I understand why they say that, because they're out of touch. And I think that people across Illinois, I really believe they understand that. That's why they continue to migrate towards our campaign. That's why we have the support, and that's why it continues to grow.
Governor Pritzker sure wants to face you, though. I mean, he's running ads basically in your favor. And the Democratic Governors Association is running ads in your favor, posing you as the conservative that you are.
Right. That's how out of touch this man is. J.B. Pritzker has destroyed Illinois. Make no bones about that. He's destroyed this state. He is out of touch. He doesn't understand or know any different. That's very simple when I look at that. And I think the people across Illinois agree with that.
Let's shift to how you're talking about how what he's done the past 4 years. Let's shift to what you want to do if you were to be elected come November. A lot of your campaign is focused around wasteful spending in Springfield. I think one of your more recent campaign ads featured you actually having a flamethrower on the state budget.
Yes.
When we're talking about, getting rid of the pork in the state budget and doing all of that, where do you plan to target? Where is the wasteful spending? Where do you think the cutbacks are happening? Because a lot of people will say, well, those are social services you're going to be cutting. Yeah. Those are all these different programs that help people in the state that you're going to be cutting.
Wasteful spending is in every department. My counterpart, my successor, Adam Niemerg, that came, one of the first items that he tried to push through was a forensic audit, a House resolution to call for a forensic audit of our budget. He was immediately called by Frank Montano, the Inspector General, or the Auditor General, and he was told that you can't do that. It's going to take in almost 5 years to produce, and it's going to cost $250 million. That's how big of a mess that the budget for the state of Illinois is. 4,000 pages. I stood at midnight whenever we were getting ready to vote on this, and I asked everyone in the Senate chamber if anyone had read that budget. No one had. No one has any idea of the pork, of the waste that is in that budget. And it's time to call it an account. So we'll put good, common sense, hardworking men and women as heads of all these agencies, put good deputy directors underneath them, and then they will begin to build their budget based on the actual true needs. When I ran for this position, when I ran for just 5 short years ago for state representative, the Illinois budget was $32 billion. And as of July 1st, it's going to be $46.5 billion. If more money is the answer, all of our problems should be solved, but we have more problems today than we have ever had.
But how do you determine what those true needs are for these agencies that are doing so much and have more thrown on their plates seemingly every year? I mean, we've seen what, budget cuts, the lack of a budget does to a department like DCFS. They're still not recovered. They're still plagued with a new problem every other week.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned DCFS, because as of July 1st, they will be leaving $12 million on the table. Last July 1st, their department left $28 million on the table. Yet they contend that $140 million of more spending is the answer. Irresponsible government is the problem. Transparency and accountability is the answer. I assure you, just as you suggested, more money is thrown into all these departments without any accountability. New programs have been created. Governor Pritzker has been on a spending spree these last 4 years, just creating new, whatever the problem is, let's create another program for it. It's not working. Men and women with common sense, with hard work, business sense, setting as directors of these agencies, will rebuild the needs, and then we're going to show the people what these agencies are going to do. Right now, no one has any idea.
So if this all comes together, but you're still likely going to be working with a Democrat-controlled House and Senate. How do you work with them in this kind of regard when you're dealing with such a large majority, or just a majority in that case, of Democrats who have been the ones constructing these budgets? Governor Pritzker has been giving his pitches in February, but ultimately it's, the Democrats in the House and Senate that are also putting these together.
Well, and that's what I've been doing. I actually have relationships in the House and in the Senate, and I know how some of these elected leaders, how they think. And many of them want to do the right thing, but they're compelled to do whatever J.B. Pritzker tells them to do so that they'll get reelected. So at the end of the day, the people of Illinois want someone who's going to stand up and expose the waste, who's going to stand up and demand accountability, who's going to stand up and say, okay, I'm a farmer. I have a budget every year. I don't know when the last time J.B. Pritzker has even dreamt of living off of a budget. But living off of a budget, especially on the farm, we don't ever do things the same way twice. Things are always changing. Some things work and you keep it and build it. Some things don't work, you get them out of the way. I don't ever see that happening here in Illinois. I just see simply more money being tossed into to the problem and no accountability. So as governor, I will be standing up, communicating to the people daily of the possibilities, of the hope, of what needs changed or what needs to go, and it'll work.
All right, Republican candidate for Governor Darren Bailey, thank you so much for taking a break from your bus tour today to join us. We'll be right back.